Ready when you are.
Okay, so did you need him to say his name?
Yeah, sorry, can you say your name to the camera one more time?
Just directly into the camera and say who you are.
Ali Damji.
You can introduce yourself to me too.
Okay. My name is Ali Damji. I'm a fourth-year medical student at the University of Toronto and chair of the Ontario Medical Students Association. I'm also a graduate student at the Institute for Health Policy Management and Evaluation.
Now we can add some extra.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I completely forgot to mention that. And
This is great.
Yeah.
So what draws you to leadership?
What draws me to leadership is the opportunity to contribute to a very evolving healthcare system. The healthcare system in Ontario and in Canada as well is evolving rapidly. There's new pressures on it, fiscal pressures in terms of new roles for providers, new roles in terms of for patients as well, and trying to engage patients. Patients are much more informed than they were in the past and want to take a more active role in their care. And I think that all of these rapid changes require there to be leadership from all sides. There needs to be leaders from patients, and there needs to be leaders from providers as well. And so I truly believe that there's a real opportunity here to be a part of something bigger than myself. And so that's why I'm here, and that's why I want to lead.
Are we good for sound?
Keep going.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure. Why do you think it's important for students to be engaged?
I think it's very important for students to be engaged in leadership, and the reason for that is because of the evolving nature of our healthcare system, and in addition to that, it's also because it's really a part of who we are as physicians and who we eventually will become. It's important for us to make sure that we are clinically competent and that we're continually building our clinical skills so we can provide the best care to our patients, but to do that also requires for us to also think about the patient that is not in front of us and what can we do to contribute to that patient's experience as well. And I think that's where the leadership piece comes in. The ability to influence policy, the ability to think about strategic directions for the healthcare system, even the ability to engage in quality improvement and to be able to think about how one can improve the quality of the care that they're providing, whether it's at the local level in their practice or broadly in terms of the team that they're working in, or even more broadly at the system that they're working in. And so to do all of that and provide the best possible medical care, I think requires both clinical ability as well as leadership ability as well.
Why do you think that they should get leadership training in addition to their clinical work?
I believe that medical students should be receiving clinical training.
That's okay.
I believe that medical students should be receiving leadership training in addition to their clinical training because leadership is complicated. It's not an easy thing to do. It is a challenging environment for us to engage in, and it goes very well outside of what traditional medicine describes. You need to be able to understand policy. You need to be able to understand finance. You need to be able to understand strategy and stakeholder engagement and all of these other things that aren't typically part of the day-to-day clinical activities that you might be doing. And while there are some skills like communication that are transferable across, that being said, there is a set of core skills in leadership that I truly believe aren't necessarily going to be met by a purely clinically focused curriculum. And so it's therefore important for medical students to also receive leadership training in order for them to be the most effective doctors in a healthcare system that's rapidly evolving.
Cool, let's just have a stop and start.
Some context to these things, so it's good. I'm actually kind of glad that
Yeah, exactly. Because now I can process the questions, right?
Yeah, because I know it's throwing it at you first.
Yeah, we're good to go, yeah.
What qualities do you look for in a good leader? What do you think makes a good leader?
I truly believe the best quality in a leader is humility. And the reason for that is a leader has to be able to move from the traditional model of leadership. And that traditional model was typically a very top-down sort of model where we look to the leader as being the all-knowing person or the person with all of the power. And what I've found as I've progressed through my own leadership training and development is that that's not really the case. The most effective leaders are the ones who are actually able to take a step back and that are able to look at a problem and understand and recognize within themselves when they're not the best person to deal with this, and they have that incredible ability to empower others to be able to do that. And I think that's really what our healthcare system needs, because there are many players in our healthcare system, and it's not going to be up to physicians alone to be able to lead it. We're going to have to work with others, and I think that there's a real powerful piece here where we can be very powerful leaders by sharing that power with others and making sure that we're able to empower those around us.
Are we good?
Yep, keep going.
Okay. What do you see as unique about med students from the rest of the profession?
What makes medical students unique is the fact that we're looking at the system many years from now, when we're completed our training and when we're eventually physicians in the province of Ontario. And what's exciting to us is the opportunity to contribute to the growth of that system and be able to turn it into something that we will be really proud to inherit and to be able to work in. And I think that's really exciting, and that's a really important voice to have around the table. Because as medical students, we're often studying the system, we're looking at it from different angles, and we're working in it during our clinical rotations. And then we can bring that future-looking perspective to the discussions that we're a part of.
Why is now the best time for students to be engaged?
I believe that it's really important for medical students to engage in leadership as soon as they can, because medical school is a really, really powerful growth experience in general. Medical students, they develop clinical competency throughout medical school, and they continue to build on that competency for the rest of their lives. And so the learning never stops, and we're always trying to do better in terms of the clinical work that we do. And I would say that the same thing applies to leadership as well. Leadership is something that's a skill that's cultivated over time. It's not something that you just learn and you're done. And similarly, I think that medical students need to be engaging and learning about leadership right from the beginning of their career, because our healthcare system is evolving. It's going to need leaders, and it's going to need us in droves to be able to push the system forward. And in order for us to be able to be best equipped to do that, we need to be starting to build those skills now so that we're ready when we're out and practicing in that system.
What is a good entry point for someone who's new to leadership? I liked your story, your personal story.
So I believe that the best point of entry to get involved in leadership is really just putting yourself out there. And from my own personal experience, the first time I engaged in any sort of leadership related to medicine was there was an email that I saw just before I was starting my medical school at U of T. And it was an invitation to contribute on a committee that would be related to internal medicine at the University of Toronto, with the eventual goal of trying to start other chapters of this internal medicine group at other medical schools. And the funny thing was, it was so early that I didn't even know if I was interested in internal medicine. But I knew that I wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself, and I wanted to contribute in any way that I could to the improvement of the experience of my classmates and of the profession as well. And so I saw that as an exciting opportunity to start. And then from there, things snowballed. I then became a vice president of external affairs at my medical society because I really liked that experience that I was having on that internal medicine committee. And then that connected me with the Ontario Medical Students Association, where I've been chair for the past 2 years. And so I think that it's really important for medical students, regardless of the year of training that you're in, when you see an opportunity that excites you, to just go for it and to not look back, and to really just take advantage of the opportunities that exist around us right now, because there's something to learn from every opportunity. And sometimes that learning can even be failure. Sometimes it can end up being that you start going into something that isn't really what you thought it would be, and it isn't really something that you are best equipped to deal with. But that being said, that's what medical school is for, and that's what leadership is for. It's for us to succeed, but also for us to learn from failure as well.
Great. So a quick stop right there. Great, we're good.
Okay. We'll loop back the same way again. Why do you think it's important for students to have a mentor?
I believe it's critical for all medical students to have a mentor. A mentor is someone who can guide you throughout the challenges that exist in medical school, which there are many, and also the challenges of being a leader as well, and there are many of those too. And so having a mentor by your side in terms of being able to guide you, in terms of even being able to connect you to the world that exists within leadership, to be able to connect you with colleagues with similar-minded interests to you, and to be able to connect you with exciting opportunities for you to learn and to grow, I think is really important. And so it's extremely important for all medical students to have a mentor.
And what qualities do you look for in a mentor, or what qualities do you admire about yours?
The qualities that I admire most in mentors is the commitment and the humility that they bring to the mentorship. One of my most impactful mentors that I've ever had is someone who, regardless of the time of day that I email him, regardless of how busy he is with his clinical responsibilities, as well as his leadership, sorry, I'm going to start that again.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So
one of the qualities
Yeah.
that I admire about my mentor.
So So one of oh my gosh, what is happening to me right
Got some
now?
water?
Yeah,
You got
okay.
some water.
As you're talking
Yeah.
about them.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're ready when you are.
So what qualities do you admire about your mentors?
Mhm. So the qualities that I admire about my mentors are the humility and the commitment that they bring to that mentorship. I can say with full confidence that I know that my mentors have my best interests at heart and they're continually championing me so that way I can become the best leader that I can be. And that takes a lot for someone to do for someone else, and I really admire that. They invest a great deal of time in me and my own professional development, and that is something that I think everyone should look to in each of their mentors. In fact, one of the things that I really admire about my mentors in general is that regardless of the time of day and regardless of how busy they are, and they're very busy clinicians who also have really vast leadership responsibilities as well in the healthcare system, if I send them an email or if I'm concerned about something or if I just need someone to talk to about some sort of leadership or clinical challenge that I've encountered, I know with certainty they'll get back to me that same day. And to me, that is so impactful and so meaningful, and I really, truly feel honored and privileged to have them in my life.
Great.
So we're gonna
Heard
get you
that
to do
bang.
that one more time.
You can
just
go.
because, yeah.
Probably just from where you started talking about any time of day. and,
Okay.
when you email them.
Okay.
Everything before that was.
Yeah, there's just
Yeah,
a bang
perfect,
outside.
yeah.
So. Why don't they know that?
I know,
what's
right?
going on here?
I know. We should have a
Put
sign.
letters out.
Filming in progress on the side of the building. So you said to lead off from the point of like.
Yeah,
I know that
I know when it doesn't matter what time of day I email them or whatever, you'll know they'll get back to me. So just from that part.
Okay. So do I just say the part before when I was talking about like regardless of their, like.
There was just a bang sort of near the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first whole half of that was
Okay.
so good. So you don't have to go back all the way to the beginning.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the jumping point would be like you said, the emails, right?
The email
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Okay.
I know it's hard to.
Yeah. All right. So one of the things that inspires me the most about my mentors is the fact that regardless of the time of the day, regardless of how busy they are, and they are very busy people, they have busy clinical practices as well as vast leadership responsibilities within the healthcare system, I know with complete certainty that if I have a question or if I'm encountering some sort of challenge in my leadership or my clinical career, or if I need career advice, or if I want to be connected with someone that they may have within their own networks, I know with certainty that they will get back to me within that same day. And to me, that's something that means so much to me because I know that they're always championing me and they're trying to make me the best leader that I can be. And I'm truly privileged to have them in my life.
Awesome. So this question we asked about how can students handle the additional stress that taking on extra responsibilities brings.
Mhm.
I think you started it last time by saying, I understand that there can
Yeah.
be extra.
Yeah. I completely admit that when someone chooses to engage in leadership work, in addition to a very, very busy clinical life in medical school and later on in their career when they're a doctor, that adding this additional responsibility can be very stressful and it can cause people to feel like there's too much on their plate. But that being said, I can speak from my own personal experience that despite taking on these other responsibilities, whether it's been my work with the Ontario Medical Students Association or the Canadian Federation of Medical Students, every leadership opportunity that I've taken on, I've found, has enhanced my medical school experience. And it has enhanced my satisfaction that I get from my leadership as well as from my clinical life as well. And so what I would say is that if you do choose to engage in leadership work, yes, it will add extra time, and yes, that time does have to come from somewhere else, and sometimes that means it comes from your free time, which is limited in medical school. But the reward that you'll get from that, and the satisfaction, and the skills that you'll leave from that, and the friendships that you'll make, and the learning that you'll have from that, I truly believe is worth it.
And
Let's do a start and stop real quick.
about how to
Good
get in
job.
touch with you and where they can find out more resources
Mhm.
and if you want to talk about events that are going on in the year.
Mhm.
But I think most importantly, 'cause especially if it's timely, that if we mention specific events, then we may not be able to use it as
True.
But
So maybe just touch on the events?
Yeah.
Maybe not say when they are, but
I think
just...
that's good.
Okay.
It's like we offer,
Yeah.
for example, Lobby Day and the leadership training, and you can find more information at our website.
Mhm.
So how to find out more.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like you phrased it very well the last time.
Okay.
What did you say?
Remember?
It was.
Oh.
Kate, you may know.
Yeah, you mentioned the VP External Commission.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about local schools, but I think it was just sort of
Yeah,
one
and
way
the
to get in
committees
touch.
and
yeah,
stuff.
you say,
Yeah.
you know, I think you said something about how you were always open and excited to connect with people, and
Yeah.
how you're, or you should say something about how you're passionate about connecting with people.
Yeah.
And one of the ways you can do that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go,
Yeah, sorry.
go for it.
If there was one thing I could say to the medical students today from this video, it would be that. Oh, am I allowed to mention that I'm even or no?
No, yeah, you're
That's fine.
golden.
You
Okay.
can even just say, if there's one thing I would mention to medical
Yeah.
students today, that's a good
Okay.
name.
All right.
Yeah.
If there is one thing that I could impress upon every medical student today, it's that we need you, our healthcare system needs you, and our patients need you. And we need you now. We can't wait for you to be in practice. We need medical students to be contributing to the conversations today and learning about how to lead our system forward today. And the Ontario Medical Students Association, which I lead along with a team of other medical students just like yourselves, they are committed to making sure that you are able to meet the challenges that lie ahead for our healthcare system that we'll need to address together. And so to that end, we offer a lot of different events to train medical students in leadership. These include things like our Lobby Day and Leadership Summit. They include things like our committee opportunities for you to engage in policy conversations, to meet with your MPPs, to write policy